This is TWiT.
Right now, we've got two wonderful guests to talk about running AI locally. Because one of the things people don't like about AI, a couple of things. One is how much energy it uses. Those network operations centers springing up all over the world and run on kind of sometimes questionable power sources. The other is, of course, privacy. You're using these AIs, whether it's OpenAI or Anthropic, and you're sending them potentially a lot of data. Wouldn't it be cool if you could just run it on your PC at home? Well, you sort of can. Let's say hello to the Tampa Bay's technology guru, Joey Davila.
Hi there.
AI developer, advocate, and accordionista. Hello.
Yes,
hello,
that
Joey.
I am. And I am here with HP's Andrew Hawthorne. He is the product manager behind HP's ZGX AI station.
And it's so kind of you, Andrew, to send us all ZGX stations. He's not doing that. But anyway, great to have you, Andrew, and welcome, Joey. Good to have you both. The ZGX, which HP announced, is almost a NUC form factor, very similar to the Blackwell DGX that NVIDIA is giving away to a lot of people, by the way. This is running on the Blackwell SoC?
That's correct. It's running on the Grace Blackwell GB10 SoC.
Okay. So again, this would be, as is the NVIDIA box, intended for local AI, right?
That's correct. It's intended for local AI, whether you're doing development or it's going through the AI development lifecycle, or even data science workloads, or even edge applications as well.
This can handle both LLMs and small language models alike, right?
Yes.
Correct. Yes.
So, what is the distinction?
One is big and one is small.
Okay.
Size
That's basically
is the distinction.
that's basically it.
Yeah, LLM or SLM. So
Yeah.
Okay. So Gemma would be an example of a small language model, the Google model designed to run on your phone, basically.
Yes.
And then there are actually giant LLMs you can download from Hugging Face. I've been playing with ChatGPT's GPT OSS, which is 120 that's gigabytes. Is that it? It's pretty big.
120 gigabytes, or basically 120 billion parameters.
That's what it really is how many parameters. In fact, this HP ZGX can do up to 200 billion parameters.
200 billion parameters, and you can actually connect two of them together using NVIDIA's ConnectX technology, and you can get to 405 billion parameters. So that's
pretty hefty.
Mm-hmm.
How does that compare, though, to me using ChatGPT directly on the web as a SaaS app?
Okay, if we're just talking numbers, GPT-3, the original the one we saw in November 22, for ChatGPT was about 175 billion.
Okay.
And
how big is 5? Do we know?
No idea.
They don't reveal that information.
No. I think they're trying to keep that. I think they're trying to keep that secret now, but bigger.
Yeah. So the more parameters, the smarter the AI. Is that correct?
That is the theory. But yeah, generally the approach has always been, lately, in the way AI people are going, is bigger is better. Scale is the thing. That has always been
this is the bitter
argument.
The bitter lesson, right? The more hardware and software and RAM and all that you throw at it, the smarter it's going to be. Is that?
Or is it the more generalist it's going to be? I mean, I've always questioned this idea.
Yeah, what does smarter even mean?
That's a good.
Yeah.
What is intelligence?
Right.
that's a PhD course in itself. But basically, what it just the theory is that the bigger the model, the better the answers you will get.
Right. Okay.
As generally, but there is also a trend towards specialized models. Just like you have people who specialize in things, they're going to use smaller models, but they're trained on very specific things. So maybe you'll have one that is an expert on, say, carpentry or news or protein powders, for that matter.
Right. When I go to Hugging Face, which is probably the most one of the most popular places to download these models to run locally. They have 2.1 million models on there, and they're all different sizes. They're all different, kind of intended capabilities and so forth. And sometimes the difference is not so much the underlying LLM. Often it's Llama or something like that, but the way it's been tuned and tweaked.
The way it's been trained. And one of the things you can do with the ZGX Nano is you download one of those models and then you do what's called fine tuning, which is basically training it on more information. So maybe you download a model that can, that does customer support, and then you do fine tuning by exposing it to appropriate responses for your particular product so that the AI customer service works better for your particular product.
We talk a lot about
you can do.
Retrieval augmented generation, or RAG, which is the idea that you would, Notebook LM uses that, where you would have a bunch of documents and then say, okay, based on those documents, do your AI thing. Is that different from what you just described, Joey? Is that if I am fine tuning a model, it's more than just having these documents in RAG?
The best human analogy I can think of to explain the difference between fine tuning and RAG is fine tuning is where you go take a course on a particular topic to get better at the particular information, whereas RAG is you're about to do a talk and somebody gives you some extra notes.
It's an open book test.
Yeah.
Okay. So ideally, fine tuning would be more ideal, for long term, especially for long term.
For long term use, and that is a particularly good use of the ZGX Nano,
right?
Where you take a model, and then you just tweak it to what your particular application is.
So that's in fact why there are 2 million plus models on Hugging Face. Most of these are fine-tuned models using the LLMs from DeepSeek or
at least
Meta
they're general, and the hope is that you will fine-tune them for your own specific needs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What is it? So okay, that's interesting. So do I have to have a ZGX or a DGX, or as I do a framework desktop to do that, or can I do that on my MacBook Pro? What does it take?
It'll be slower, and in fact,
so it's just about speed.
It's about speed and processing power, and what the kind of model that'll fit inside it. So the ZGX 10 has 128 gigabytes of RAM in it. All right, and that is more than that is maybe 4 to 8 times more RAM than in your typical computer that you're going to buy out of the shop.
It's different than if I bought a Windows PC with 128 gigs of RAM. It's unified memory, so it's accessible like it was part of the GPU in effect.
Yeah, when you talk about RAM in a PC, you're normally talking about the RAM dedicated to the CPU, which does the general computing work, whereas the GPU is a specific processor designed to do matrix math. So it does all the it's the accountant the CPU is the CEO, the GPU is the accountant that does all the math. Most GPUs don't have that much RAM, like maybe 4 gig, 8 gig, 16 gig.
It's very expensive too. If you go out and get a 5070, you're spending a lot more money for less.
Because it's incredibly fast RAM. This is RAM that both the CPU and GPU can share, and if you've got a giant model that needs to do a lot of matrix math, the GPU can take a lot more of it, which means you can stuff a much larger model into the ZGX Nano.
Andrew, how much of the 128 gigs on the GGX is available for that?
For all of it. So it's shared among the CPU and the GPU.
Okay.
So both of those complexes have access to all.
Obviously, though, you're not going to steal so much RAM from the CPU that you can't run.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So is there a practical?
So that's why they cap it out at 200 billion parameters, right? So some of that is going to be reserved off for system. But yeah, it's shared among both the processor and the GPU complex. So and that's what you're looking for is, when you're running AI, you're looking for how much RAM you're able to give to the GPU, because that's where you're going to do all your processing.
It's also where the expense is. If you're buying GPUs, yeah.
In the release for the HP sites, kind of customers worried about data privacy and like unpredictable cloud costs. I'm curious, like, how did those concerns or any other concerns kind of shape the design choices for this product, the ZGX Nano? Like, were there any places where you guys said no to kind of keep it small and quiet? Could you walk me through that a little bit?
It's amazing you can get this in a NUC.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
There it is.
So
It's
tiny.
not exactly a NUC, but it's pretty darn small.
No,
It's a mini. Is it mini ITX?
It could be a big NUC.
It's a proprietary company, although it's not mini ITX. So, but yeah. So customers told us, hey, privacy is a big issue here. Unpredictable cloud costs, big issue here. And they saw value in a small device that is really a companion device, right? So this is it's AI specific. It's tailored to the AI workloads. It's a companion to their, as what I like to refer to as their everyday driver or their everyday system, that they can do AI development and AI workloads on it, rather than, as Leo pointed out, expensive GPUs that usually go into an x86 machine.
Right. You're not going to do Microsoft Office on this, though.
No, you're not going to do Office on this.
That would be a waste.
That'd be a big waste.
You probably could, but you shouldn't. Actually, you can't run Windows on it. You told me
Correct. That's
what is the OS on this?
So it's running NVIDIA's DGX OS, which is their operating system that they built on top of Ubuntu Linux. It also includes their AI software stack, and then we also include a ZGX toolkit, which is some open source tools and libraries to get you being productive right out of the box.
Yeah.
And the best part is ZGX Toolkit runs as a Visual Studio Code extension. So in other words, it is running inside the development tool that, according to Stack Overflow's 2025 survey, 76% of developers already use.
So
you use your own development
you're
machine.
using VS Code on this machine,
You're
or
using
you're
VS Code on your favorite development machine, whether it's Windows, Mac, or
anywhere
Linux,
else. Okay.
And then you deploy to the ZGX, which is on the same network.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. That's nice, actually.
Yeah, so
Everybody
you
loves
don't have
VS
to.
Code.
You don't have to change anything about your development workflow. You just put the ZGX on the same network as your development computer.
Who's buying, Andrew? Who's buying these?
We see enterprise customers are interested in this, as well as enthusiasts, small businesses, just about anybody, and it's across a whole spectrum of verticals. So anybody who's looking to use AI to accelerate their business is probably buying this.
Yeah. Are hobbyists, people like me?
Yep,
buying?
hobbyists. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of interest in hobbyists.
I was tempted by the DGX, the NVIDIA box, but it's $4,000. How much for, just out of curiosity, what's the ZGX going to set me back?
We're comparatively priced.
It's about the same. Okay. That's what I figured. Truthfully, the framework desktop was somewhat over $3,000. So I think that, it's in the rough ballpark.
Yeah.
It's not something, you're not going to buy a cheap laptop to do this, because you're doing some of the most complex heavy duty computing that you can do these days, right? Short of designing a 747.
Correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So you're looking for the best performance. You're looking for the maximum amount of VRAM or RAM allocated to the GPU.
Right.
So it's gonna give you the best performance.
Right. Is NVIDIA the only player in this? Is AMD or Intel? Would you consider designing something like this with their chips?
So we do actually have, similar to your framework that you keep talking about.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to keep saying that. I'm sure
it's okay.
It burns, doesn't it? It does.
It stings a little bit, but we actually do have devices that are built on that same technology. We have a laptop, our mobile workstation, as well as a desktop workstation. So yes, AMD is also in this business as well.
Okay.
That's an SoC design as well.
I will say that I ordered the framework before you guys came out with this, so it was a while ago. It was a long time ago, I think. It was earlier this year, but it felt like I think it was 8 or 9 months before I got it. So
weren't they? I think they were doing it in waves, if I'm not mistaken.
They were, and I was wave 11, so it took a while.
They saw your name and they were like to the bottom of the list.
Put them at the bottom of the list. But I do have to say, it's been a great learning experience. It's been a lot of fun to download models from Hugging Face. I'm running them in LM Studio, which allows me to run these models, tune them a little bit. I haven't done any fine tuning or any of that or inferencing. I'm just running the models as is. In fact, I've downloaded open code to kind of simulate Claude Code. It's not quite as good as Claude Code, but it's fun. And the fact that I can play with it locally is somehow a little bit satisfying. It's a do-it-yourselfer thing. Yeah. What would if I wanted to get into fine tuning, maybe I could I would give it all the episodes of this podcast, something like that.
Yeah. So basically, the idea behind fine tuning is you go, here's a model, and it's fairly simple Python code, and you say, here's more stuff I want you to learn. Here's more stuff I want you to learn on. And one of the things we're going to be doing with the ZGX toolkit is providing examples, and I am going to submit some as well. And one of them will be fine tuning. There's a classic talk like a pirate one. I might try that, but I'll try other things. But
okay,
yes.
So what would the data be for talk like a pirate fine tuning?
So talk like a pirate fine tuning, you'd give it this big file that says all sorts of things, including like
R.
I assume
what
do you a lot of that.
There
this
is
is how you
something on Hugging Face called Open Pirate.
Well, there you go. And you can tune it further, but you can take a customer service model, say, and just go, look, or an HR model and say, look, troublesome employee, what's the response? And the response could be, ye be walking the plank.
You be walking the plank, laddie.
But that's basically it. You're just providing you're providing situations and example responses. That's it.
Is this
Stimulus
in effect
response.
what OpenAI is doing? That they've got a model. They want to, they had 4.0. And everybody was in love because it was sycophantic and it was beautiful and it loved me and it knew me. And they said, okay, we don't want so much of that. Is it a question of fine tuning it to make it more like ChatGPT 5?
Well, with 5,
I'm sure they have new models.
It's a little bit different because 5, and this is going to be a trend, and this is going to be something people are also going to be experimenting on with the ZGX Nano, is 5 is a bunch of little models in a big trench coat.
It's MOE?
Yeah, basically. And then there is another model that decides which one do I hand this over to.
There's the model picker model.
Yeah.
So MOE, which is a mixture of experts, is...
Mixture of experts, and then there's a bunch, and then there will be MPC.
What's that?
That
non-player character. No.
MP.
MPC. Yeah. Agentic AI. Yeah.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. And so for instance, I have MCP. Okay.
MCP.
MCP, Model Context Protocol. Right. I have a little demo called Too Many Cats, where you ask the model how many. I have this many cats. I have this many people in this home. Is it too many? And the LLM throws it over to too many cats, and it performs simple math. More than a 2-to-1 cat ratio is too many cats.
So you created an MCP server.
Yeah.
That my AI, look at this world is changing so fast. We're all trying to understand this. And I know that we have listening experts who go, yeah, well, Leo, you understand. But for the small number of you who don't, like me, completely understand what's going on. So you have a MCP server.
Yes.
That's called Too Many Cats.
It's called Too Many Cats.
And my AI, I'm sitting here running, ChatGPT.
Yeah.
I will talk to it, and it will somehow know to connect to your MCP server and query it.
Yes. So if you ask it a question that it somehow decides to connect to, it somehow decides, you know what, this is.
Oh, it asked me about cats. I need the.
Or this is a cat to human ratio question. I should throw this over to the MCP.
Got it. And the MCP but it's more than just another model. It has an API. It has an interface.
Well, basically, it's just a program that takes some input and produces a result. That's it. All it's doing, basically, yeah.
Oh. So it's not even AI really necessarily.
It doesn't have to be AI, but what it does is it just as humans sometimes turn to software for answers, we now have the artificial intelligence turning to software for answers.
Oh, this is interesting. So really, too many cats is number of cats divided by 2 greater than.
Well, yeah, no, that's it, because that's the example I presented at Tampa Bay AI meetup. It's a meetup, and it's always a code along with me. I give you a starter project, we fill it in, and then I go, look, you're going home with software that you can take home and you can modify. But to make it really simple, I just said too many cats. We're not going to write anything fancy.
It's really one function.
Yeah, that's it.
And so the interface to it is put and get, or is it HTTP? What is the interface to this?
It's similar. It's similar to HTTP. Plus, there's also a hint to the large language model that says, "Hey, this is my name, and this is what I'm for."
Oh yeah. It needs to know who to call.
Yeah. So it kind of drops. Yeah, it's basically dropping the hint, and then the MCP server just goes to the LLM and goes, "You know what? You have a cat ratio problem. I know a guy who knows a guy who will give you the answer."
Oh, okay. So the MCP is a middleman.
Well, there's an MCP system that basically where you can just have a collection of MCP programs that do things.
So for instance, one of our sponsors, Bitwarden, has just put out an MCP that is a credential manager. It's a password manager. Yeah. So it would register itself with some central MCP directory.
Yes. So typically, for instance, Claude has a system where you can specify, these are the MCP applications.
Got it. Anthropic came up with this whole scheme. That's
it is the Anthropic people did that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So it's like a switchboard. I get it. And your AI goes, Martha, give me the is it an MCP server? Is that what it's going to ask for? Give me the MCP server that knows about cat-human ratios.
Yes.
And then it will, the MCP, Andrew's going, okay, I didn't know what I was getting into here.
Yeah.
Okay. But look, we very rarely get somebody on here who Joey's good at this, explaining how this works, isn't he? He's very good.
He's very good.
Explaining how this works. Okay, let's get back to the HP.
But that's it's a good example though. It's a simple example.
Yeah.
I can appreciate that.
Yeah. And you could, in theory, this whole thing could be run locally as well, right?
Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
One thing, now you're gonna have to explain this to me, Andrew. I saw somebody talking about the NVIDIA box, saying it's nice. You know, a lot of people have talked about the new Mac Apple Silicon, because it has a neural processor. It actually is pretty good. It has unified memory, can have a lot of memory in a lot of ways. It's kind of a perfect local AI machine. It doesn't do CUDA, which is unfortunately the lingua franca these days of AI and is proprietary to NVIDIA, which is why NVIDIA owns this market. But there are translators there, and there are models that will work on Apple Silicon and so forth. In fact, LM Studio works fine on Apple Silicon. But one thing I saw somebody say, and this is on Reddit, so
so it
could be wrong, is that and I'm probably not going to get this right, but the throughput on this Blackwell SoC isn't as good as the throughput on the Mac. So what he did is he kind of made a beast with two backs. He combined the Mac, and in this case it was the DGX, the Mac for throughput and the DGX for raw, horsepower, and got a faster machine. Does that make any sense what I just said?
So kind of, but I'm not sure how you.
I apologize for. I don't know how you'd connect them. There's no.
I don't know.
Right.
Yeah. I was gonna say I don't know how you connect the two of them together.
Over the network.
It's two different operating systems, and I mean, maybe you wrote some software to make it work.
Maybe. Yeah. You actually, it's pretty cool. The ZGX can be interconnected to another. Can you have just two ZGXs, or can you have many?
Just two. And it's a simple copper cable that connects the two together. There's ports on the back, and you just connect them together.
What's the interface?
It's a 200 gig QSFP port.
Wow.
Okay. It's a really big cable. Well, it's a really thick cable with a really big plug.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
and the other thing, of course, is that another way to get a lot of processing power is HP has Boost. And Boost is a piece of software that lets you work with, just borrow processing power from other GPUs on your network.
So you could cluster the GPUs in effect.
Yeah, so you can get
That's
so you can get
interesting.
more, and yeah, with a little clever programming, you can split up the job and do more. Even like say the gaming laptop behind me, I'll borrow its GPU too. Why not? Let's put everybody to work.
Yeah, since you got them.
Yeah.
Or you have
And
a
my
machine
old
that
big-
doesn't have a GPU and you need a GPU, right? You can go
Yeah.
borrow one from across the network.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
That's
you're
really interesting.
so a development machine. So one thing I want to experiment with actually is how far can I go with a Raspberry Pi as my development machine, but having it deploy to ZGX Nano.
That would be very interesting.
The Flintstones Jetsons approach to
I
coding.
don't believe that the Pi supports the 200 gigabyte interconnect, however.
No, I'm afraid.
That would be over the network, probably. That you would
I'm
do that,
afraid
or-
not, but it does run VS Code, which means it runs ZGX Toolkit, which means I can write and deploy
Nice.
to this really, really nice machine.
So what? So besides the cat human ratio machine, what else? What other the local LLM projects you've been working on, Joey?
Well, mine have been for demo purposes, so I need to make it really gettable for. I need to make it gettable for a beginner developer audience. The other one I do have is called Sweater Weather.
Great.
Okay, no, but
Are these on YouTube somewhere that we can watch you do this?
I am working on that video right now. But Sweater
Good.
Weather, all it basically does is determine where you are and fetch the weather for where you are. And
It's
the
an
idea
MP,
is
it's an MCP server.
well, yeah, it's part of an original demo that I did before MCP. It was originally using an LLM to tell you whether you should wear a sweater or not.
Okay.
And what it does is it finds out where you are, then gets the weather, then throws back the question to the LLM.
Does it use Open Weather API to get the weather? Where
Yeah,
does it get
Open Weather API to get the
Okay.
weather. Actually, Open Meteo, the French
Open
one.
Meteo. I've used
because
that one,
that's
yeah.
free.
Yep.
And then I just pose the question: here's the temperature where I am. Should I wear a sweater? And have the LLM decide.
Funny thing, I actually had Claude code me up an Obsidian plugin to do that.
Okay, well there you
using
go.
Open Meteo. That was a fun example of vibe coding. I had no idea what it was going on, but it works.
Well, there you go. Well, vibe coding is just another layer of abstraction above compilers.
Right.
Once upon a time, when you wanted to add two numbers, you'd build a voltage adder, and then somebody said, no, let's have stored programs. And then
Ooh,
stored
fancy.
programs in machine language. And then Grace Hopper said, no, let's have something a little human sounding. Let's
And
have
she wrote
COBOL.
COBOL. Oh my
Right.
God.
And then
what
we
a
just
mistake.
keep going on and on
Right.
and on.
Oh, right.
Yeah. This
Oh,
is so. As far as I'm concerned, prompting is programming.
It's just the next level. It's a high level language.
Yeah, basically, it's Star Trek. It's Star Trek. Computer, do the.
Andrew, does HP anticipate a market in the home for local LLMs? It wouldn't be this year. Maybe in 5 or 10. That at some point people will have local LLMs.
Yeah, so we're starting to see edge use cases, and so the home would be a great edge use case as well, right? So it's just the natural progression of where things are going to go. And we're going to find AI at the edge everywhere, whether it be work or home.
And does it count on I guess we began with the same question. Does it count on improved hardware, improved models, improved software, or all of the above?
I think it's going to be all of the above, right?
Yeah.
So your models are going to have to work within the parameters of the hardware that exists, and then the hardware's just going to get better over time. So
Yeah.
And I think we're going to see more of this CPU plus GPU on one thing before, because you know what, AI, people are just going to expect AI from computers now, and
Absolutely.
you need GPU, you need that math ability to do that.
That's what Microsoft
already
kind of
expect
foresaw
computers-
with the NPU, right? And then Copilot. And yeah, go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, in the same way that people expect everything to be computerized, digital,
Right.
and connected, they're going to expect all those devices to be AI based, and it doesn't make sense. For example, you have an MRI, really expensive piece of hospital equipment for diagnostics. You're definitely going to want to apply all the science that's going into using AI to better detect and work with doctors to detect things humans can't do by themselves. You're not going to want to throw that to ChatGPT. Right? You're going to want to do that locally on the device. It's going to be part of the machine eventually, right? So. Right. I just think that in the same way that everything's got a chip in it these days, everything's going to have some kind of AI in it, I think, in the future. And I think that's a lot more efficient, a lot more reasonable, probably a lot more environmentally friendly than just having these monstrous single, all-purpose, ChatGPT type things, which, of course, we'll always have those. But I think that, rolling it out to the edge just makes so much sense.
Yeah, I mean, again, addresses data privacy concerns, latency as well, right? So, taking that information, sending it to a data center and bringing it back takes time, and it's going to, your insights aren't instantaneous, particularly if you've got a latency sensitive application that needs to get those insights in real time. And this is a perfect edge device, and this is the beginning of seeing AI going to be at the edge.
It really is fits in with a general trend toward privacy, and a lot of us, me, jumped on Amazon's Echo and the Google Voice Assistant and Siri, and I have in every room I have all these devices, and they're all incredibly frustrating. Latency is one problem, intelligence is another problem, functionality. But the dream of having something in your house that could be an assistant that could do all that is real. People want that, even though the big tech hasn't provided it to us. And I think it's really also the case that people also are a little nervous about big tech having a microphone in their house. And I think there's a real trend towards doing this locally, doing it privately, and doing it intelligently. If we could get there, I think that'd be a huge market. I think. Oh, yeah. I mean, go ahead.
In the home and other places. So there's a cancer hospital here in Tampa, Moffitt, and they are working on a project. I need to talk to them about it, actually, where they're going to have LLMs in hospital rooms to chat with patients. And this is information you absolutely do not want leaking out into the world. And I'm thinking a small device like the ZGX Nano is a perfect application for it. You put it on a hospital cart. It's smaller than the clumsy TV that you get. Yeah. In fact, you could probably tape it to the back of the TV and just have it there. But wow. That is a perfect use. I'm trying to reach out to them and say, hey, let's talk. I think we have something for you.
Joey and I didn't know this till he showed up, go back a little ways. Here's a picture of Joey with me, Amber MacArthur, Andy Walker, Kevin Rose, Joey on the accordion. This was at the No Regrets Bistro in Toronto in 2004, 21 years ago. On G4 Tech
Leo,
TV.
Why do you look like a cryptid in these photos?
I don't know what's going on. I think somebody has run this through AI with YPT or something, but it's
making a Sammy Davis Jr. face.
I don't know what's going on in that, but Joey looks great, and so of course so does Amber. Well, maybe not in that one. Yes, whoever took these pictures was. Remember, this is 2004.
Yeah. So we weren't using phones. We had dedicated cameras.
Yeah. And I clicked to view it full size, and it's the same size. So.
Oh yeah, no, 1024 by 768. That's high res, baby.
It was probably saving to a floppy disk on a Sony Mavic camera. That's how long ago that was. Anyway, Joey, it's great to see you again.
Great to see you as well.
And I love your webpage. Everybody should go to globalnerdy.com because it is a wonderful webpage. It's basically a tumblelog for geeks, for developers. It's a lot of these jokes our audience will get. How to explain to a PM that adding 2 more devs won't make it 3 times faster. Love that. Love that. The mythical man turkey is what they call that one. Yeah,
exactly.
Anyway, at work they call me 007. 0 comments, 0 documentation, 7 bugs in production. I love it. That's globalnerdy.com, Tampa Bay's technology blog. Joey, thank you so much for joining us and explaining in a simple way, some of the concepts that we throw around all the time. Is there some place I can go? I would love to see your tutorials. You're setting up a YouTube channel for this, or?
Yeah, actually, it's called Global. Yeah, it's youtube.com/@globalnerdy. I'm working on it right now. I do have right now. My latest long form stuff is all about surviving your layoff,
Oh,
which I'm
Ooh.
talking about as a 5-time layoff survivor.
good
Wow.
Lord. Yeah, I looked at
For
your
once,
resume.
I'm not the most laid off person on the podcast. At 3. We love to see
just
it.
by a couple, though. You're not.
Hey, we're not going to think about the time difference, or the time periods over which all of those layoffs have happened comparatively. We're not going to.
globalnerdy.com and on the YouTube. And please do those tutorials, Joey, because I think everybody wants. I've been sending people to Andrea Kapathi's videos and stuff, but they're pretty high end. I think somebody would.
Yeah, I start gentle. I start much gently, more gently. Yeah,
start gentle. Thank you, Joey. And Andrew Hawthorne, who is a product lead for these amazing. I'm going to be very nice. Maybe he'll send me one. HP ZGX. No, I know. I wouldn't even want it. ZGX. I'm sorry I mentioned the other guys. This is very cool. This is very, very cool. And I'm really excited. And I know many people are, but the idea of these little computers that can do local AI is really remarkable. It's really exciting. And a lot of credit to NVIDIA for creating that SoC and the OS and the software to make it happen. And
Exciting times.
yeah, it's very exciting. Thank you, Andrew, for joining us.
Thank you, Leo.
Thank you, Joey. Appreciate it, guys. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this highlight from Intelligent Machines. We do the show every Wednesday. You can watch us do it live. Or, as they say, like and subscribe. There's a link down below. Thanks.